Hello, it's Sadie. I wanted to come on and do this spiritual talk because I was actually guided to do this video back in December because I've been doing more lives and more live readings, and Spirit was like, you really should do this video. This is a good spiritual talk idea. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I wrote it down and then I kind of forgot about it. And then this week it came back into my consciousness. And ironically today, Anastasia, who comes on the lives a lot, and her channel is, she just started a tarot channel recently. I think it's called Tarot Dreams with Anastasia. She actually posted part of what I want to talk about today in this video on her community page, and it was this picture of, tarot, good questions, bad questions, how to ask a question. And I was like, oh, okay, Spirit, this is a perfect timing, perfect synchronicity for this video. So this video is going to be titled Spiritual Talk, Tarot Etiquette, Best Uses, and How to Ask the Best Question to Empower Yourself, okay? So why I think this video is important, number one, as I mentioned, I am doing more readings for people. More people are joining the channel. We're building a conscious community, which is absolutely beautiful. I thank you from the bottom of my heart and have the deepest gratitude and love for you guys for your positivity and your feedback and all the beautiful energy that is exchanged here. But I also want, not just for me as the reader, but for you, participating, to get the best experience out of it. I am not going to be 100% perfect all the time. Nobody is. I do the best that I can do. I definitely am really, really conscious about, my energy and making sure that I am in a good space to do readings. That's why I like to do them outside, because being outside in nature just instantly sort of lifts my vibration and keeps me at a very, very high vibrational level, so that I'm giving you the clearest channel and the best energy for your experience. I just want you to know that, okay? But with that, some of the things I wanted to bring through in this video, best uses, is because I think it's important to understand what tarot is, but also what it's not, okay? And so one of the things I loved about my teacher when I formally took tarot classes in 2018 and then started doing readings for people, one of the things she said was, tarot is a psychological and spiritual tool to help you connect deeper to your own intuition and inner guidance, and to help you interpret and process your thoughts and emotions to empower yourself. And that is my philosophy 100%. It's to empower you. It should be used to empower you. There are different readers with different philosophies, but that is mine, okay? And so with empowerment means that you are God, you are the creator, you are the power, you are the magic, you are the magician. I am a channel, but so are you. And so I think it's very, very important that you, if you're getting a reading from me or anybody else, number one, numero uno, do not put the reader on a pedestal, okay? Even though I did my formal tarot training and tarot class in 2018, I've been using tarot since I was 15 years old. I'm 40 years old now, so it's 25 years. The first tarot reading I got was at a Renaissance fair, and then she had decks, and I bought a deck from her. It was a Rider-Waite deck that kind of looks like this. Not this specific deck. I've had like 10 Rider-Waite decks in the last 25 years, but looked like this. And so, that's how I started doing tarot readings for myself. And for years, I would only read for myself because I didn't feel comfortable reading for anybody else. But it has been an incredible tool to really help me to connect and trust my intuition and kind of just interpret energy. That's how I use it. I think it's a great tool to interpret energy, but it is not the end all be all, all right? You can interpret energy with tarot. You can interpret energy with downloads, with psychic visions, with intuitive feelings. But ultimately, you've got to make the decision. You've got to make the choice. You have the power. And so it's important when you go to any reading, me or anybody else, that you understand that and that you don't put the reader on a pedestal. Your intuition, your mind, your thoughts, your emotions are absolutely valuable because it is your life. You are the only thinker in your mind. You are the consciousness in your body. And so it's just very, very important, again, to not give your power away to me or anybody else. Hold your power. It's a cooperative experience. You know, I'm not here and you're not here. I'm actually lower than you because, again, you are the ultimate power in your life, okay? I am just a channel, and it's not about me. It's about what spirit wants to bring through me. And that's why a lot of times I'm outside, because that I know myself enough to know when I'm outside, that's when I'm just like really, really tuned in. I'm getting downloads. I'm in a very, very clear space energetically. All right. The other thing too is, because it is a tool of your spiritual development, use it to develop. Whether you get a reading, whether you use cards yourself, really use it to go deeper. That was one of the things that I really loved. My tarot class was very, not just informative, but it was very intensive. It was 6 weeks and it was 6 hours every week. So we did 36 hours of tarot, okay? She just drilled it into us. Readings for each other, and there was about 10 to 15 people in the class. Readings for her, she would do readings for us. We would talk about readings, we would meditate with cards. You know, really meditate with the card. The Hermit was on the bottom of the deck, so I'm using the Hermit. This is actually my card. I am a 9 life path. This is my card. All right. Meditate with the cards. Feel the energy from what you're picking up on. Even if it's just with a reader, when you go to a reader or when you have a reading done. Use your spiritual intuition to tap into the message that the card's giving to you, because there may be a secondary message or a deeper meaning for a card like the Hermit to you than it is for me. And so I'm channeling the information and I'm picking up what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling vibrationally from this for you. But also, it's equally as important. Again, it's a cooperative process. So you should be picking up and opening yourself up to picking up psychic, intuitive downloads and psychic hits as well. That's really, really important because, again, because it's a tool of empowerment. Stand in your power. Use it to bring you to your highest level, okay? So with that as well, one thing that's really, really important is if you're getting a reading, all right? Obviously, we go to readings for different reasons. We'll watch videos for different reasons. Sometimes we're in a bad mood, we've had a bad day, we're dealing with a lot of stress, there's a lot of challenges in our life, we're looking for comfort, we're looking for answers, we're looking for guidance. Other times, we're feeling good and we just want that confirmation. And so when you are going to go for a reading, whether it's with me through a live reading or any other reader, really be clear about what you are wanting from the reading, like what your intention is. You know, if it's to get clarity on a situation, be clear about that energetically. If it's to get confirmation of a situation, be clear about that energetically, because as a reader, I'll pick up on sometimes like distorted or just jointed energy. And I know that oftentimes when I do, it does influence the reading. And so that's a lot of times where I'm not clear, so I'll continue to pull cards to get clarity. But if you're really clear, it will help me to be more clear for you. Or if you're really clear and you get a reading with anybody else, it'll help the reader to pick up on the clarity and pinpoint exactly the message or exactly what you needed to hear at that time, okay? So that's really important. Another thing too is the questions, all right? How you ask a question is important to the value and the power of the reading, okay? I take it from the perspective that any question that I ask, so if I'm going to get a reading, or mostly I don't get readings, I do readings for myself. I don't get really tarot readings unless it's like from my teacher, and I haven't done one with her for years. I typically will do other types of readings. So like, I don't know anything about tea leaves, so I had a tea leaf reading done because I was like, this is cool and it's different, right? What is this person with the tea leaves picking up on? And let's see if it sort of resonates and matches what I'm kind of, you know, wanting answers or wanting clarity about. So I won't typically get tarot readings, but if I were to get a reading, one of the things too is ask questions that actually set you up for a win, or give you some type of solution, okay? Because some questions, like, you want an open-ended question, but it needs to have enough detail where the reader is actually able to give you guidance and assist you in a way that, again, helps to empower you, okay? Some of the bad questions, and that's why I wanted to come and do this video. And it's not so much that they're bad questions, but they are questions that they're usually not going to give you the answer that you're looking for with the tarot reading. So here's one of them. When will my person leave his spouse? Number one, we don't have control over what anybody else does. Number two, when you have an open-ended question with timing and future, that's very, very tricky because time is not linear. Even though we here on Earth in the 3D as humans measure time in a linear way. We have a Gregorian calendar, we have months. Today I'm filming this, it is February 8th, 2023. Time, universal time, energetic time doesn't work like that. How Spirit has kind of explained to me, time goes in cycles. And so there's cycles that begin, there's cycles that end. That's why I love the tarot, is you start with the full, which is the beginning of one cycle, right? And they go through their fool's journey and they end up with the world, the completion, the full circle. You have a circle here at the beginning of the full, looking up. You've got the circle here at the completion of the cycle, all right? But all the way through, there's many twists and turns and many things that they had to learn on that journey. And so because time works in that way. You could see that like by the moon. We just had the full moon, and now the moon is going into the new moon, and it goes through its phases and stages of waning and waxing, and then it becomes full again. It's a 28-day cycle. So when you're asking, when will my person leave their spouse, you're going to get a very sort of disjointed answer with that. Again, there are absolutely exceptional readers who can very well pinpoint the timing and give you that timing. I am not one that's good with timing. That is one of my areas of weakness, and I fully admit it, okay? Because again, it goes to divine timing, it goes to their soul contract, there's so many elements involved in that question that it's again, the energy, there's too much there to give a very, very clear answer, unless like they've already filed for divorce or something like that, or they have already moved out of the house, then it's easier. But if they're still like married to that person and living with that person, like that's a very tricky situation. All right. Another bad question is, when will I win the lottery? Okay. So listen, you can win the lottery today, but it might be $10 or $20. So I win the lottery all the time, just not the jackpot. Okay. So asking a question like when you will win the lottery, it's just not a good use of the tarot question. Again, setting yourself up to fail and kind of not empowering you. Because if you went to a reader who says you're gonna win the Powerball, and you go and you spend your entire paycheck on Powerball tickets because you're like, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna win anyways, and maybe you win $10,000 but you don't win like $700 million. You see the difference? She wasn't wrong. You did win. You just didn't win the way you wanted to win. So don't set yourself up to fail with your question. That is the point of this whole thing, right? Another really not great question is, what is the name of my twin flame? What is the name of my soulmate? What is the name of my future spouse? Why this is not good. The number one reason why is, again, we have soul contracts. And for many of us, we will be with different partners at different stages of our journey. And so even if myself or another reader picked up on a name, what it does is it limits you to only choosing to be with partners who have that name, and not being open to the other possibilities of souls and people that you were meant to connect with and have relationships with during this incarnation. Okay. So, sometimes we don't have one great love. Sometimes there are many loves throughout the journey, throughout the process. So that's why that's not a good question to ask. Okay. Good questions really are open-ended, but have specific details in them. Like, I'll give you a question. What is the best solution for me in my job situation at this time? If you're going to do timing, it should be now. The time you should be asking, like, what can I do now to help myself? What can I do now to manifest my best partner? What can I do now? So if you're going to ask timing questions, make sure you're asking questions now instead of when, okay? You want to ask a question that helps to give you guidance to give you a solution, or helps to give you guidance that brings you clarity or confirmation about what you're already feeling and knowing, okay? These are the questions that are very, very tricky. Health questions. Am I pregnant? I have seen pregnancy for people and I've told them, yeah, you're pregnant, or yes, you're going to be expecting. And it was accurate, all right? Where it gets tricky is there something wrong with my health? I have seen sometimes where I felt like it was important for me to tell someone, you need to go to the doctor. You need to have a medical professional opinion about the situation that you're in. But it is not my place as a tarot reader, and it is unethical for me to diagnose, because I am not a licensed physician. I am not a doctor. I am not doing your blood work. You know, that's where it gets into the unethical aspect of it. And that's one of the things that I absolutely loved about my tarot teacher was, you know, we did a 6 hour, each week, it was 6 hours of tarot. And she did 1 6-hour block specifically on ethics because it's important, especially if you're going to read professionally or if you're going to read for other people, to really know what your personal boundaries are and know what is the ethical and unethical lines to cross. It's very, very, very important. This goes into one of the biggest, what I feel is one of the biggest unethical things for a tarot reader is to tell you if you're going to die, or is to tell you that they see someone dying around you. The reason why I say this is because it's not always definitive. And so if you get it wrong, you're literally planting the seed and embedding it into someone's consciousness that they're going to die, or that someone around them is going to die soon. I mean, we all die. Part of living a mortal life is that you're going to have a mortal death, okay? But I will never tell someone that they're going to die, even if I see it in the cards. And this is the reason why. Number one, the way Spirit explained it to me, because I saw it once and I kind of was like, should I say something? Should I not say something? And my guides were like, no, you don't need to say anything. And the person didn't die. Okay. And I said, okay, I saw it. I kept having dreams that they were going to die, and then it didn't happen. Why didn't it happen? And they said, because timelines do shift and change. In your soul contract, it's open-ended in the sense of not everyone has a specific date and time in which they have chosen to exit this life. Yes, we're all going to exit. If you're born into a mortal life, you will have a mortal death. Life and death are like twin angels. They're two sides of the same coin, okay? However, there are many, many multiple factors that go into exiting and leaving an incarnation. Number one, first and foremost, the soul has to choose to leave. This is evidenced by near-death experiences. So many people have had near-death experiences. Actually, my Reiki Master teacher was someone who's had 2 near-death experiences, and both times she was given the choice if she was ready to exit this life or stay, and she chose to stay. One of the things, though, with near-death experiences is that, again, the soul gets to choose. You get to choose whether you're going to stay or whether you're going to leave. And so because of that, you might get into a catastrophic accident, or you might get diagnosed with a terminal illness, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be how you choose to exit. And because of that, I'm not gonna, even if I see it, seeing it in cards, or seeing or having a vision of it or having a dream of it, doesn't mean that it's definitively going to happen that way, or at that time. So that's why it's unethical to tell someone that they're going to die. Here's the other two reasons why. Number one is David Bowie. I love David Bowie. I'm a huge David Bowie fan. Loved his music. He had a tarot reading he had a psychic reading, actually. It wasn't a tarot reading, in the 70s. And the psychic told him, you're going to die at 69 or 70 years old and you're going to die of cancer. He left that reading believing it, telling bandmates, telling friends, I'm going to die at 69 or 70 years old. And he did. He literally died like days before his 70th birthday. Was she accurate? Absolutely. But because we are conscious mind, we are God and spirit incarnate, we are conscious creators, that psychic implanted the seed in David Bowie's consciousness that he was going to die at 69 or 70 years old. And because he believed it, thoughts become things. So if I tell someone something like that and they believe it, you're going to create that outcome. He created that outcome for himself. If back in the 70s when he had that reading, she didn't tell him that, there is a very real possibility he may not have died at 69 or 70 years old. So that is another reason why it is unethical for you to ask a reader or for any reader to tell you that. If you are worried about your health, if you're worried about the health of a loved one, go directly to source. Pray, ask for guidance, ask are they leaving? Do I need to prepare myself? Do I need to prepare the family? You will get the guidance and you will get the answers, but it is not the readers. It's not our moral responsibility. It's not our ethical responsibility. It's not our job to tell you that. And no reader should. Okay. Again, for that very reason, because he believed it for 40 plus years and did create that outcome for himself. He may not have if she had not told him that specific thing. Okay. The other reason is because, again, when I was talking about the first time, is like, I've seen it. I literally had dreams about someone in my life that is close in my life. They were going to die. I had 2 back-to-back dreams, and then I was pulling cards for them and continuously death, the death card, the 10 of swords, and the chariot were coming up. And so my interpretation of that was they were going to die in a car accident, right? They didn't die. It's been almost 4 years. They are still here. And that's the one I asked about, like, okay, it didn't happen. And I was told timeline shift. I know somebody that I took my tarot class with who was told that she was going to die at 50. She's now 70 years old, but she lived for 10 plus years like she was going to die at 50. Terrified, didn't get into relationships, she had been divorced at that point. And that's when she went to the reader who told her she was going to die at 50. So she basically just kind of like gave up on her life at that point and then didn't die at 50 and was like, okay, what do I do now? And then kind of had to like start her life all over again. So readers get it wrong all the time. We are not 100% perfect. Energy changes. Everything is energy. Energy changes. So that's another reason why you should never ask a reader, and they should never tell you. Because if they're wrong, it potentially could destroy part of your life because it's what you believed and it didn't even happen. And she's alive and kicking and thriving right now, which is great. But for years, she just kind of felt like it didn't matter. She kind of just gave up. And that's horrible. She was disempowered. She was robbed of life because that reader was unethical. So this gets into my other aspect of what I wanted to bring up. if you get a reading from me or anybody else that does not resonate with you, or that really bothers you in some way, or that you feel like is not an answer that you want, understand that everything is energy, and energy is always changing. Something my guides are always telling me, the higher the vibration, the higher the outcome. And so again, if you get a reading from me, because this happened the other day, actually, I don't think she was unhappy with the reading, but I was on the live and she asked a question about if she was going to get a certain percentage on a test to pass a test. And I wasn't seeing that for her at this time. It looked like she needed more studying and then she would pass the test. But I said it clearly too, like, just because I'm saying that and that's what I'm seeing right now in this snapshot, in the energy of the reading, does not mean that you are not going to pass the test. Like, you have to choose what you want. Again, you are the only thinker in your mind, which means you have all the power. She could study her ass off and pass that test and totally, you know, blow everything out of the water. Just because I see it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen or that's what's going to be. There's an energetic potential for it because I'm seeing it, because I'm picking it up. But again, it's not definitive. And so very, very important for you, if you have a reading with me, whether it's a personal reading, whether it is a live card pull, or you do a reading with anybody else, you do not have to take the reading on as your truth. You do not have to take the reading on as fact. And you do not have to feel like you have no power or no say if someone says, you know, you're not going to pass a test or you're not going to be with this person at this time. Like, empower yourself. Empower yourself. Take it with a grain of salt. And then say, no, I don't accept that. Spirit, show me how I can pass my test, or Spirit, show me how I can manifest that money that I want. You know, so really, again, this video I feel like is important. I'll probably do a part 2 as more comes through and as I want to bring through more. Just wanted to kind of start with these things because I think they're important, but don't let any reader, any psychic, anybody disempower you. Always stand in your power, okay? And know that I'm always coming from a place of love, and I'm always coming from a place of wanting to inspire, wanting to empower, wanting to lift you up. Even if I have cards that are not the best cards or the reading's not the best energy, understand that the higher the vibration, the higher the outcome, you have the power to shift something in your favor. You always have the power to be set up for what is for your highest good and what is for your highest outcome, because God is unconditional love and is always setting you up for the win. Okay. So wanted to bring that through. I'm sending all my love. Again, my deepest, sincerest gratitude to you for watching the channel, helping me grow this beautiful conscious community, and for all the positive feedback and connection that we've all had. And so let's continue to go forward and make it great. I hope that everybody has a wonderful day and takes something from this video that helps them, that empowers them. All right, see you guys soon. Sending you my love. Take care.